flatten this guy's villa with JDAM.
FBI, freeze! Get on your knees right now! Get on your knees!
On July 10th, 1972, the most dangerous American hacker was born, named Max Butler. When he was only 8 years old, his father Robert Butler, a Vietnam veteran and emphasized technology buff who ran a computer store in USA, made him fall in love with the field of technology by making him meet the first machine in his life, a computer. Max that time studied programming in BASIC, a site created in 1963 where they teach people to learn programming languages. After the years, he decided to study computer science at the BSU. And once he was given account on school's shared Unix system, he started hacking the computer right away. With his friend, David, they would skim through faculty email boxes while holding a long silent conversations, shooting messages back and forth across the room through the computer. But then, Max started poking at the defense of other internet systems, earning him a brief ban from the BSU computer. And once his access was restored, he was back again to his game. The sheriff called the BSU's network administrators at 2 in the morning, wanting a copy of Max's computer's files to examine for evidence, because Max sent her murder-suicide threats to his girlfriend that he was dating that time through Tinimad. A request that raised difficult privacy issues for college. Eventually, the administrators decided not to voluntarily hand over anything. Instead, they would preserve Max's files on the computer's tab and lock Max out of the computers at once. Max is after the breakup with his girlfriend, they still meet, but he ended up threatening her, especially after he saw her with a new man. He called him and said that he will kill him. The crime happened by a van explosion nearby the couple, May 13, 1991, and after he was being tried, he was sentenced to 5 years. Max passed by a dark, difficult days, while his friends were studying at college and got graduated. However, once he got released, he recognized that after 3 months of being imprisoned, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, a British computer scientist, had created the World Wide Web. Now, there are nearly 19,000 websites, including one for the White House. They made dial-up internet service providers were surfacing in every major cities, including in Ohio. Max got a job as an tech support job through a temp agency, but his teen soul still yet pushing him to do illegal stuff. He returned to a network of chat rooms called IRC, Internet Relay Chat, and because people that time moved to other upgraded web-based chat systems rather than IRC like IAWOL, ICQ, so IRC tended to be either for people of disreputable sort of hacker and pirates. He entered the chat room and named himself the Ghost 23. He started pirating commercial softwares and games, uploading them in a protected FTP file server at an ISP Lieutenant Colorado for him and his friends, who were admired by his hacking skills. The ISP noticed the drain of its bandwidth and traced Max's upload to the corporate office of the CompuServe in Bellevue. Where Max had just started working a new temp job, he was fired. But he didn't give up. He intended to start over again from another place, with a new name instained by his past fully, and because he used to call himself the Maximum Vision, he said goodbye to Max's Butler and welcome to Max Vision. He took that name with him to San Francisco, where he met a friend called Tim and other friends. They decided to start a business called The Hunger Manor, a computer consulting business. Everything was running awesome. Living in an apartment turned into a computer lab and server room until one day Max received a 300,000 lawsuit filed by a software publisher association, an industry group that had decided to use his piracy bus to send him a message. This action is warning the internet users who believe they can infringe software copyright without fear of exposure or penalty. He was assisted congressional hearing on internet piracy, but no evidence had been proven against him. However, this accuse gave Max a big upper hand. It introduced him to an FBI agent called Chris Beeson, who offered him collaborations against were cyber thieves, pedophiles, even terrorists, and he accepted that. He even got creative with hacking. Also, he received a good bonuses. In the late 90s, the world of the internet became opened. Hackers' mindset were increasingly rejecting intrusions and going right for the legitimate security work. Their name, the White Hat. Max was one of them. He continued working for the FBI. His hunting of IRC led him to a new opportunity. He knew a person called Matt Harrigan, or Digital Jesus, and he discovered that he had a company named MCR, Microcosm Computer Resources, where Matt used to make a deal with other companies to put a network through a real hack attack, and Max accepted his offer to work with him in hacking and writing reports. He was earning about $150 for the 1 hour. In the same period, a company called BIND was chosen by the Pentagon, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, to employ Scalable Domain Name System, DNS. This innovation made the internet grow in an incredible way. Some hackers performed haphazardly, such as an attack would cause the program to crash, and a careful hacker could do much worse by tracking the program's memory space called the stack. Thus, they can control the computers of any user from any direction. The authorities were aware about the BIND flow, but CERT, the United States Computer's Emergency Readiness Team, didn't give a big importance to that case. Only Max who did. The 18th of May 1998, he called Chris Beeson to indulge him about the situation, and that government computers would be particularly vulnerable, and because of small bug, anonymous hacker could crack a computer at dozen USA military bases. The Pentagon suspected at that time Saddam Hussein, until I found the real suspect, who was an Israeli young man hacker. Max that time was confused. However, as the Ghost 23, he was excited for what life can give him if he will exploit BIND for his purposes against the Pentagon. By creating his own BIND attack, with the help of his boss Matt Harrigan, he sat at his keyboard and plunged into furious programming. His code warmed into Air Force servers, Army computers, machine, and the Office of Cabinet Secretary. MC Cord, Tinker, Offit, Scott, all those were under his control, until a man called Vern Paxson, a programmer, was working at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, California, and hided Max's attack through intrusion detection system called BRO. Paxson wrote a full report on the attack for CERT, mentioned a list of servers that Max's code was attacking through. But oops, Max intercepted it and sent him a message that said that he had a noble purpose and he does not want to make any damages to him or the authority either, and all that would happen for a greater good. However, after 1 month, Chris Beeson and some other FBI agents visited Max at his house. Max opened the door, they sat down in a living, and then Chris shocked Max that he knew all about Max's attack on the Pentagon. By the help of DC-based Air Force investigator, Max got perplexed, apologized directly, and explained that he only meant to help. He said, "They didn't do anything except they hauled Max's computer equipment with them and left." Max was hoping for leniency. He determined to salvage his life and career. Thus, Chris was entrusted him with different kind of missions away from writing reports. And the mission was that there was a gang that hacked phone system at networking company 3Com, who were using it at their own private teleconferencing facility. And here Max dazzled them with his intelligence. He could get them, and it turned out that they were just the kids playing with the phone. The agent summoned him to federal buildings in San Francisco to brief him a new assignment, a mission to Vegas. After it, Max received a message from Beeson. "We need to make some changes in the way we do business." Max didn't know that his days came to an end. Here, government didn't become interested in Max. He got sentenced for 3 years and other 18 months in Taft's federal prison. The case was closed here. 2002 got released. Max moved again into a new chapter, a chapter that will lead him later on to revolt against the Fed by planning for the biggest scam that has ever happened in the history of cybersecurity inside the black market.